Yo, yo, yo! What's up, my little manhwa population family? Today, I'm bringing you an absolute banger of a manhwa. You better buckle up, because this one's a wild ride from start to finish. So, without any more delays, let's get it. The story kicks off with Kim Yisak, the unluckiest dude alive. My guy got hit with a one-of-a-kind illness. Literally, he's the only person diagnosed with it. And if that wasn't bad enough, boom, he's got 6 months left to live. His whole life? Nothing but slavery and misery. No fun, no freedom, just endless suffering. But you know what really broke him? The fact that he was going to die a virgin. Talk about tragic. And just to rub salt into his already painful wounds, on the same day he gets diagnosed, he wins the freaking lottery. Talk about god-tier bad luck. But in the end, yet he dies. And then boom, reincarnation. But hold up, it's not as a hero, not as a noble, not even as a regular dude. No, he's reborn as a bald-ass skeleton in the underworld. An inferior class summon monster. Bruh, his new job? Wiping out rebellious forces threatening the demonic realm. And guess what? He ain't playing around. He annihilates the threats, brings prosperity to demonkind. And before you know it, he's crowned the undying sovereign of the underworld. All hail King Isaac. Even though his name is Yisak, these demons keep butchering it and calling him Isaac. SMH. But even with all this clout and power, our boy ain't satisfied. His ultimate goal? Become human again. Why? Not for power, not for fame, just to taste food, feel pain, and experience life like a normal dude. Simple, right? So, he marches his skeletal self into the divine realm, with the severed head of the enemy leader, proving he completed his mission. Mission accomplished, baby! Now, it's time for the gods to hold up their end of the deal and turn him human again. But guess what? These snake gods never planned to keep their promise. They expected the task to take 500 years, but my guy blitzed it in just a few. The gods thought they could scam him into eternal servitude. But Yisak? He ain't having it. He demands his reward, right here, right now. But one of these shady gods tries to weasel out with a classic just one more favor. Nah fam, Yisak ain't dumb. Realizing he's about to get played, our skeleton king rages. The power he unleashes? So terrifying, even the gods flinch. They panic, and these cowards resort to their ultimate trump card. They write Yisak's name on some creepy centipede-like creature holy artifact that completely immobilizes anyone whose name is inscribed. This is some EX-grade holy magic, the kind of technique they use to seal disasters. But Yisak? He's no disaster. He's the apocalypse itself. The gods start their final ritual to trap Yisak inside that wretched bug for eternity. But our boy says, screw that. If he's gonna go out, it's on his terms. His energy explodes, shaking the entire divine realm to its core. A massive blast engulfs everything. And when the dust settles, Yisak is gone. All that's left? That tiny, insignificant caterpillar the gods had prepared. Thinking their spell actually worked, the gods celebrate, believing they've sealed away the demon king forever. They're ready to reclaim their dominance. But one of the wiser gods ain't buying it. He warns the others, don't get too comfortable. Because if another monster like Yisak is ever born, the gods are screwed. The gods are still at it. Since they fumbled sealing Yisak, they gotta fix their divine mess up. Their new plan? Create the ultimate saint in the human realm to wipe out every last demon. But one god points out, this is kind of a huge job. Whoever makes this saint is gonna get drained like a juice box. Still, the volunteer god? Confident as hell. He just needs to find the perfect soul to throw into the saint's body. And as for our bald skeleton overlord, the gods are cackling at the thought of torturing him as a caterpillar for all eternity. But hold up, Yisak ain't a bug. He's a baby now. Dude is confused. 1 second, he's beefing with the gods, and now he's been ice-guyed into an infant. The only logical conclusion? Those divine clowns fumbled the seal. The maids around him start cooing, all excited that the saint has woken up. But Yisak ain't buying it. He peeps their faces and immediately gets bad vibes. And then, BM, one of them pulls out a feeder full of suspicious green goo. Alarm bells go off. Yisak ain't stupid. This looks like a one-way ticket to another reincarnation. The servant with the poison bottle even grins at him like, sorry, little guy, but I gotta do this. As soon as they try to shove the feeder in his mouth, He dodges like a pro, twisting his head left and right like he's Neo in the Matrix. The maids freak out. Why is the saint refusing to eat? Duh, because he doesn't want to die. At this point, Yisak is trying to figure out how the hell he even became human again. And then, he hears it. They call him Isaac. His soul leaves his body for a second. That name, the same mispronunciation that the underworld and the gods used. And then it hits him. The gods messed up. Their dollar store sealing spell failed because they used the wrong name. Instead of trapping him forever, they yeeted him into a new human body. Yisak grins like a villain. These divine buffoons played themselves, and he's loving every second of it. But before he can bask in the glory of his escape, boom, the maids strike. They shove the feeder into his mouth. He fights back, but baby strength can only do so much. He finally gives in and takes a sip, and it tastes like blended kale and regret. This is worse than death. But since he ain't keeled over yet, he figures it's probably not poison. Probably just some disgusting baby veggie juice. But then something changes. A weird sensation creeps through his body. Something is off. This ain't normal food, there's definitely something else mixed in. And with that, the scene shifts to the Holy Empire Hellas Central Temple. The old coot thinks he's won, but nah, our boy's built different. Over at the Holy Empire Hellas Central Temple, an ancient geezer is sitting back, smirking to himself. Why? Because he's convinced that Isaac, one of the saint candidates, is deader than a doornail by now. Dude's already picturing our boy pushing up daisies. But then, enter the big boss. The Emperor of the Holy Empire Hella, Alexander Heathcliff Hella, strides into the temple like a king inspecting his domain. He's here for one reason only, to check on the saint candidate of the Ashwa household, aka our boy. The old bishop freezes for a second, but then, quick as ever, he plasters on a fake smile and bows his balding head along with his disciples. Alexander, the walking definition of absolute authority, wastes no time and asks the old man what he's doing here. "Oh, your majesty," the bishop lies through his teeth. "I merely came to greet the saint candidate of House Ashwa." Bruh, he's lying so hard it's almost impressive. Then suddenly, a loud voice breaks through the temple. A reporter dashes in, panting like he just ran a holy marathon. His voice is urgent. Something's happened to Isaac. The old bastard nearly jumps with joy. Oh, his plan must have worked. Alexander and his knightly entourage waste no time. They sprint straight to Isaac's room. But when they get there, plot twist, our boy ain't dead. Turns out Isaac's just chilling. His belly? Round as a pumpkin. The reason? He's been guzzling that poison like it's a 5-star meal. Servants spill the tea. Isaac has already chugged 15 bottles of that tasteless green juice. 15. This dude ate the deadly poison like it was a buffet. The emperor is intrigued, but the old geezer? Devastated. His entire soul leaves his body. How is this kid still alive? Flashback time. Let's rewind a bit. When Isaac first sipped that nasty juice, he immediately felt something off. There was an ominous force sinking into his body. But soon he figured it out. It's a holy poison, a devastating toxin designed to destroy holy power. It's slow-acting, but if a normal saint candidate drinks too much, they're toast. But here's the thing. The poison? It's made from demonic mana. And guess who used to be a demon king? This isn't poison. It's a full-course meal. To Isaac, this stuff is like weed. He could smoke this poison all day, and it'd still hit just as good. The moment he finishes his first bottle, boom, he starts crying for more. The servants panic, thinking, "Oh no, we have to make him drink more." Bruh, he's literally begging for it. They think they're killing him, but they're just feeding him power. And as Isaac keeps downing the bottles, something wild starts happening inside him. He enters a deep, unconscious state. Right at the core of his soul, he starts forging his mana core. A ball of fire ignites in his hands. He takes all that demonic mana poison and starts stuffing it into his core. Why? Because if he wants to use magic later, he needs to set up the foundation now. But then boom, his mana core explodes. Smoke clears, and what he sees? Absolutely not normal. A mana core should be one of the 3 primary colors. His? It's white, and he has no idea why. But color ain't even the real problem. It's the sheer, overwhelming power bursting out of this unfinished core. Something big is coming. Our boy just hit the jackpot. Despite the sheer chaos inside his body, Isaac can't help but grin like a madman. This is beyond anything he expected. His tiny new body is overflowing with terrifying power. If he trains properly, if he hones himself just right, he might just become a monster beyond comprehension. From loser to legend, his journey begins. Looking back at his past, it still pisses him off. He died like a loser. No accomplishments, no grand victories, just a pathetic death. But did he give up? Hell no. All he ever wanted was to survive. That desperation turned him into a bald skeleton demon. And through sheer effort, he created original buffs and spells. And now, it looks like all those abilities got passed down to this body too. Meanwhile, outside his head, the servants are panicking. For a second, they legit thought he was dead. Dude was just lying there, not moving an inch. But then, suddenly, he lifts a single finger and demands another bottle of poison at full volume. The servants nearly jump out of their skin. Back to the present, Alexander and his knights are low-key shook. They were expecting the worst, but nope, everything's fine. Even Isaac is relieved. For a second, he thought he was about to get assassinated. Then something catches his attention. The bishop is staring daggers at him. Why the hell is this old man looking at him like that? Did he eat too much? Did he just commit some sort of baby crime by chugging too much juice? Whatever it is, our boy ain't about to overreact. He's playing it cool. The last thing he needs is to look suspicious. So, he keeps up the act, staying in character as an innocent little baby. Meanwhile, the old coot is literally fuming. This brat should be on the floor, coughing up blood, fighting for his last breath. Instead, he's grinning like he just won the lottery. The bishop is losing his mind. But let's switch scenes back to a few days earlier. At the Holy SE headquarters, a golden-haired dude sits in a grand chamber, absolutely seething. Why? Because whoever gets the title of saint automatically gains control over the entire Holy Empire. And this guy? He wants that power for himself. He's convinced that all the noble families are throwing their kids into the saint candidate race just for the throne. And he is not happy about it. Standing before him is our favorite old coot, the bishop. The bishop reassures him, "Don't worry, my lord. I'll handle the other candidates. They won't be a problem." But then, the golden-haired guy leans forward. "I've been hearing some unpleasant rumors. Whispers have been spreading about a new saint candidate from House of Schwa. And House of Schwa? They're tight with the emperor. This is bad news." The bishop tenses up. He knows taking down House of Schwa's candidate won't be easy. But still, he forces a smile and reassures his master. "I assure you, the brat will be dead before the emperor even considers him." Golden Boy isn't satisfied. "Verify the corpse yourself." He orders the bishop to go back to House of Schwa and personally confirm that the brat is dead. Well, good luck with that, old man. The plot just thickened, and so did the bishop's sweat. That golden-haired schemer? Cardinal Harry Barrett, the head of House Barrett and the mastermind behind this whole saint candidate purge scheme. His goal? Eliminate every other candidate, so the next saint comes from his own family. And now, back in the present, our favorite old coot is in full panic mode. Why? Because Isaac is very much alive. This man is sweating bullets. He knows that if he goes back empty-handed, Cardinal Barrett will have his head on a silver platter. Meanwhile, Alexander is having an entirely different kind of moment. He's staring at Isaac's platinum blonde hair, utterly fascinated. Why? Because it reminds him of the Holy Empire's founder. And that's where the bishop officially loses his marbles. Blasphemy! Comparing this brat to the Holy Empire's founder is an absolute crime in his eyes. But then, Alexander drops an even bigger bombshell. This boy is closer to God than even the Pope. Excuse me, what? And just like that, Isaac is officially declared the final saint candidate. Our boy is in shock. A saint candidate? Him, the former demon king, is supposed to be a holy saint. And the bishop? Oh, he is not having it. With the emperor showing clear favoritism toward our boy, this old bastard knows he has to act fast. So, he tries to BS his way into an inspection. "Your Majesty, this child is unnatural. No baby should be able to drink that much vegetable juice." Bro really just called Isaac out for being a bottomless pit. But Alexander? He's not buying it. He's a saint candidate. Of course, he can chug monk food. Meanwhile, Isaac is still struggling to process this mess. How the hell is a former demon king suddenly a saint candidate? What kind of reverse ice sky is this? But then, he accidentally screws up. After stuffing himself like a Thanksgiving turkey, he casually burps out excess demonic energy. And he realizes immediately he just goofed. His eyes go wide. His hand slaps over his mouth. Did I just blow my cover? Yep, he did. The bastard bishop immediately latches on. He sensed the demonic energy. This was the proof he needed. Your Majesty, this child is a fake. He carries impure mana. He insists that an inquisitor be brought in immediately. Alexander, however, is fed up with this clownery. He's getting real tired of this old man barking nonsense. But then, the bishop plays his trump card. There's no need for concern, Your Majesty. The Pope has already chosen the saint. It is none other than a child from House Barrett. And that right there sets off all kinds of red flags for Alexander. Oh really? So the Pope just happened to pick a kid from his own damn family? And finally, Isaac gets it. He connects the dots. The Barretts are eliminating every rival candidate so they can keep the saint's power within their family. And this slimy old man was sent to kill him. But then, the bishop strikes. He scoops Isaac up in his arms. I must take this child to a priest immediately. Bro is trying to kidnap him on the spot. The tension is rising as the old coot tries to push his agenda. But before he can get too far, Alexander stops him dead in his tracks. Alexander reminds him pointedly that House Ashwa is the imperial family's closest ally. And as emperor, he highly suggests this old coot to reassess the child at a later date. The old bastard halts in his tracks, only to make a comeback. This time with a soft but clear threat aimed at the emperor. Apparently, the Pope has mentioned that the ceremony of investiture for the crown prince will only take place once the saint's election is concluded. Basically, the Pope is threatening the emperor by refusing to officially recognize his son unless the emperor agrees with the Pope's choice for the saint. Even Isaac can sense what's going on, and it makes him incredibly annoyed. While he has no intention of becoming the saint candidate because it would attract unwanted attention and jeopardize his true identity, he also can't let the inspection go through. It might reveal his real identity as a demon. Then, an idea sparks in his tiny mind, a plan to turn the situation to his advantage. He infuses the feeder bottle he's holding with mana and strikes the old bastard across the face hard enough to break his teeth, sending blood leaking from his mouth. The broken teeth fly through the air as Isaac acts like a little child just playing around. The old man struggles to comprehend how something so simple could hurt so much. But Isaac just keeps playing the role of the cute, innocent child. Seeing the sheer strength of this boy, the emperor declares that this child must truly be the saint. Even the old man is clueless as to where all this holy power is coming from. Isaac doesn't stop there. He swings the bottle again and lands another brutal hit, and further continues his relentless barrage, one strike after another. It's safe to say this is one of the worst days the old bastard's had in a while. Meanwhile, the emperor is enjoying every moment of this, thoroughly pleased to see such a capable candidate for the title of saint. Isaac, on the other hand, makes sure to strengthen the bottle with magic and delivers one last hit to seal the deal. But suddenly, he senses something unusual about his own powers. Every time he uses mana, he can sense a faint amount of holy power as well. You see, mana and holy power are incompatible and can't normally be used together. The only explanation for this odd occurrence is the influence of the mana core now residing inside him. The old man finally grabs the feeder bottle, throwing it away in a fit of rage, declaring that the baby is a heretic and that they must immediately use the holy exorcism art. To put the final nail in the coffin, Isaac reaches into the old man's jacket and pulls out a creepy hand. Seeing this hand in public leaves the old man utterly devastated. He knows he's in real trouble now. Here's the context. This hand is actually the corpse of a high-ranking demon sealed away. In other words, it's a totem. The totem is an artifact that utilizes the characteristics of demons, who consume the corpses of other demons to absorb their mana. Isaac has kept this totem on him at all times, just in case he ever encounters demons. The old man completely loses his shit when he realizes this kid even knows about the totem. Isaac proceeds to throw the totem on the floor, making it visible for everyone to see. As soon as the totem touches the ground, Isaac snaps his fingers, and the demonic monster inside is unleashed. While the onlookers are absolutely shocked, my guy is rocked. It's a true dab moment for him. The discovery of the shadow, Lich catches the Emperor on high alert. He roars at the bishop of the Barrett family to have summoned a demon inside their temple. The bishop attempts to pin the blame on the child, accusing him of taking out the totem. But the Emperor reminds him that totems can only bind dead demons, so a mere kid couldn't have done something like that. The Emperor orders his men to protect the child from the demon and the bishop. Our little protagonist is quickly snatched away, giving the old bitch face a cocky smile, forever messing with him. More importantly, he's intrigued to find out the bishop's strength. Suddenly, the demonic figure roars after understanding its objective to kill the saint at all costs. This puts our little dude in major trouble because the monster in the room has set its sights on killing him particularly. The royal guards jump ahead to protect the young master at all costs. But even Isaac doesn't get what's going on, as he's the one who summoned the demon, and yet it is targeting him on the spot. He's not worried though, because he thinks the platoon of royal knights will be enough to protect him. That happy-go-lucky attitude goes out the fucking window when one of the guards gets smashed into the nearest wall. Now he's left questioning if these dudes are even competent as the royal knights to begin with. The monstrous demon catches up on Isaac and the guard protecting him. This creature seems adamant on achieving its goal, to save the imprisoned king for some reason. The guard holding him is scared shitless as more of his friends are getting tossed around like toys. Isaac realizes he must intervene, and he easily can, as no one will notice the use of his mana in the chaotic movement. The monstrous demon lunges forth to attack Isaac while he's left wondering why there is an entire group of people trying to assassinate a damn baby. Isaac is pissed that he just freed T-Demon, and yet this ungrateful fuck is trying to unalive him. He invokes his true self, that of a demonic lord, instilling extreme fear inside the demon. The monster is shocked to be in the presence of the Skeleton King, but shortly after that, the boy releases his mana and beams brightly, astonishing the Emperor and his guards. That every glowing shine of his engulfs even the demon, causing it to flee screaming in fear. The demon escaped, but everyone just witnessed the sight of true holy power at work. The guards can't believe that the young master could beat a high demon. They hold him in high regard. Meanwhile, our savage little killing machine is seriously surprised that he can channel holy power. He truly doesn't get where he's stuck. The holy power runs out, but here's the twist. His current body allows him to convert his personal pool of mana into holy power, which also troubles him, because now he won't be able to gather any dark mana. It makes him realize that there's no dark mana in the Holy Empire. The bishop is captured, despite him groaning accusations of the kid being a heretic. He blames the young master for being a demon, and even offers to exorcise him for the sake of the emperor. But the emperor has had enough of this guy's ramblings, and truly, all he's done so far is accuse a child of being a heretic when he himself released a high demon against the royal knights. The emperor speaks in a firm tone, emphasizing that the bishop will not be let off so easily for his treacherous acts. This is bad news for him and his group, as the emperor will only get closer on discovering the truth about their spy. The bishop fears that it will inevitably harm the reputation of the Sanctus Satis, so he sneakily attempts to cast a spell, sacrificing his own life for the sake of his family. The bishop releases a powerful mana beast, now hell-bent on his objective to kill the Saint Candidate at all costs. The creature bares its fangs against the tiny baby, who is sitting there bored out of his ass that this old geezer revealed his true self. At first, he's hella confident that he can knock this puppy down with a sweat. But then it dawns on Isaac that this dude ran out of mana only a few moments ago. It all seems lost until the creature is struck by a powerful attack from another caster. This silver-haired man has come with a vengeance to strike down those who attacked the child of Joshua. It's the devout Azure and his knight squad serving House Joshua. Rely is the leader of this group, as well as the boy's uncle. He orders for the bishop's immediate arrest while baby Isaac is chilling for life. Rely then orders his men to pay immediate respects to the newest member of their family, the son of Joshua. He apologizes to his baby brother and impresses even Isaac with his no-bullshit attitude. In return for their late arrival, they have come with a present. Isaac sees something shining and becomes excited at the thoughts of gold, but it's nothing more than a FING figurine of the Skeleton King getting beheaded. So he's basically receiving souvenirs signaling his own death. It's a shock to his system, because these F-heirs have so many figurines of the Skeleton King dying in various ways, getting crisped alive, or even pulverized to death. There's so many of them. While they're adoring the child's expression, he's out here having heart attacks, realizing that he's going to have to survive the rest of his life with these lunatics around. So clearly the little murder machine isn't liking where this is going. He does vividly recall memories of his own defeat. The Saintess attempted to beat him. All three members that became responsible for bringing him down were part of the stupid Joshua family that he has now become a part of. Imagine reincarnating into your enemy's family line. Bro is punching the air right now. While he's thinking about his shitty luck, the bishop roars at the Joshua family for being nothing more than heretics who created a monster. The old geezer has made it his life's goal to reveal Isaac's true identity. He promises to annihilate the Joshuas by his hand, but that's enough of his yapping. Rely is done playing around and merely slices his throat, warning him that it is the mercy of their family that he didn't deal the killing blow just now. Isaac is really happy that he's got one hell of a powerhouse to rely on. He wonders if Rely is willing to go against the Sancticettes in the future with the right persuasion. The Knights, on the other hand, they're out here treating him with care and consideration. The funny thing is, he remembers fighting against some of the members of the Joshua family and understands that they're strong. His own subordinates were terrified to face Joshua of Blue, for example. But this dude turned out to be a creep with weird figurines of the Skeleton King. The Emperor is glad to have been favored by Rylai in this situation, and wants to extend an offer of a lifetime. The Emperor wants to raise Isaac as one of the royal family members, something that comes as music to his ears. The Emperor is doing this because he knows the internal and external forces of the Holy Empire will be targeting the young master, so the situation calls for it. While the Joshuas are reliable and strong, there's no telling if they can safely protect the child. Isaac is a little confused and doesn't get what's going on. Interestingly, Isaac shares the same hair color as the founder of the Holy Empire, which somehow seems to be a significant point. Also, they think that the Skeleton King is secretly targeting the child too, which is just utter nonsense since Isaac is the Skeleton King himself. But these guys don't know that yet. Rely makes it very clear that this kid belongs to the Joshua family and therefore will be raised by them. As such, he doesn't care if it's the Pope or the Skeleton King that is after them. The Joshuas possess more than enough strength to handle the threat. Saint Tez Melissa, among their family, is actually eager to encounter the Skeleton King. They can't exactly have her direct descendant to be just gifted away to the imperial family. The name Melissa strikes pure fear in his heart, as Isaac recalls that she was his final opponent in the divine realm. She was the most terrifying foe she had ever squared up against. So let's add another layer to the Skeleton King's misery. Not only was he born into the family line of his enemy, but he's also the direct descendant of the one woman who beat his ass the most. At this point, he's seriously questioning what the actual FK is going on. Let's rewind a little and understand what a Saintess truly means. Having been defeated many times by the Skeleton King, the people decided to forge Saintesses, bringing them up as the ultimate weapons of war. They were made to punish evil, donning holy light magic, and considered the highest rank among the knights of the empire. The power of the Saintesses allowed the people to believe that the Skeleton King would soon meet his end. They had immense physical stats, a persistent survival instinct, and could only grow stronger with time. But for the Skeleton King, this guy was just ruthless. He was massacring the Saintesses left and right. He never really killed them fully, only injured them enough that they would be rendered defeated. The Skeleton King knew that the holy energy of the Saintesses always returned to the gods after their end, and that allowed for the creation of even more powerful, evolved Saintesses in place. Now let's get to Melissa, the final Saintess that he ever faced. She was the most powerful opponent he ever encountered, encountering a near-death experience. And now this terrifying woman is his ancestor. What a life! Rylai argues that the Saintesses purely exist to defeat the Skeleton King, and the Joshua family line is the only family capable of producing them. Their ultimate mission is to defeat those who stand against the path of gods. Many Saintesses have sacrificed their lives just challenging the Skeleton King, even though he never killed them. Turns out that Isaac once trapped a Saintess in a maze. It's funny because his intention was to free her, but she was just shit at navigating. 5 Sanuses died of frustration instead of going to the hospital to heal their injuries. Rylai comforts the child, reminding him that they'll do everything to protect him even if he's cursed. But in reality, Isaac is punching the air because he's the one suffering the most. Rylai wants the child to have only one purpose, and that is for him to turn out anything other than the Skeleton King. Which is pretty fucking hilarious considering this is the baby version of their same damn arch-nemesis. Isaac apologizes for having crushed his parents' dreams by literally existing. The Emperor wants Rylai to use his head, reminding him that the Skeleton King had been done away with for more than a century now. This is how Isaac learns that he reincarnated a while into the future, and that means he doesn't have Melissa to fear anymore. From that time, the demonkind continued to prosper. The Emperor argues that Isaac's powers are more important to the Imperial family more than anything. Also, the Emperor highlights that there aren't even any Sanuses from the Joshua family line in service at present. It's been 1 year ever since Isaac came into this world, only for his parents to disappear into thin air. Bro, they really said fuck you to their kid and left. Isaac's received 8 different shocking realizations today, and learning that his mother was the head saint of the family makes it all the more worse. He thinks it's all over for him. Also, remember when this idiot assumed that Melissa is dead? Turns out that Persistent Sanus is also alive, and she's still kicking ass. The dude seriously can't believe that she lived for nearly 2 centuries. He's having a headache, and even the Emperor is surprised seeing the child so distraught. Isaac thinks his life is actually ruined if his lifelong enemy is alive and well. He's going to get eviscerated the second she uncovers his true identity as the Skeleton King. He really doesn't want a piece of her at his age, so he pulls out the only move at his disposal. Isaac chooses the Imperial family, and such cuteness that even he is swooned. Rylai tries to play his cards and defends that Isaac is just being friendly, but the Emperor is adamant in raising him as his own, as the Imperial family's got plenty of privileges for the child to offer. The Joshua family is known for its Sanuses, but they don't have experience actually raising saints. The boy is eventually going to become a demon slayer exorcist, which is why Rylai argues that the Joshuas are more fitting of his caliber. They're literally pulling a 1-year-old apart from each end, arguing like children while Isaac is about to get sacrificed in this funny scene. Bro is literally hanging on and really wants to become a part of the Imperial family to save himself. He strongly believes that the Emperor is his best bet, as he offers the most security for his life. So the boy turns to the Emperor and chooses him again. In the next scene, the annoying bishop comes before his cult, still convinced that the boy belongs to the demonkind. His masters are upset hearing his whinings. They merely can't accept the ridiculous idea that the power of light was channeled by a demonic child. The bishop mentions the use of mana, and that he saw it before his eyes. But the Sancticetes group has already made up its mind. They waste no efforts in slicing his head clean, deeming it as a punishment for his blasphemous claims. The leader is uninterested in leading an attack squad, believing that the Emperor is going to take Isaac anyway. And then, they'll have more than enough chances to deal with the boy. Only this time, they'll make it personal that he dies. Meanwhile, Isaac learns that he ended up getting taken by the Joshua family. Let's recap what happened a few days earlier. A beam of light distracted them all, while Rylai surprisingly gave up ownership over their child, stating that it would be an unworthy place for Isaac to grow up in. Also, it's here he comes to learn that the Joshua family actually possesses the damn corpse of the Skeleton King. His precious body has been snatched and mentioned so late. All of a sudden, Isaac grabs Rylai's finger, switching up his plans, and this time aiming to go with the Joshua family. His adorable smile is enough to swoon the older brother. And that's how he ended up pairing with Tay, Joshua family, instead of the royal one. It's not the best thing ever as he's getting dragged to the military just to try his best on stealing his previous body. That body of his was refined with mana to the point that it challenged even the strength of gods. If he can retrieve it safely, he's going to be on the top of the world again. Also, he's never seen the light of desire to survive shine at an alarming rate. It came from Rylai, which means he's being signaled that the Joshua family is somehow a better chance at his survival. Still, there are questions regarding the Pope's forces specifically targeting Isaac, something even he has no clue about. Turns out there was a recent prophecy from the gods, which stated that a saint will become the child of the gods. That also implies that Isaac is in line to become the next pope, which is bad news for the Barrett family. It's the kind of development that the Skeleton King seriously wasn't expecting. The Pope is supposed to be the strongest cleric, the only one capable of using 10th rank holy spells. This dude is equal to the status of a king with his own army of holy knights. For millennia, the Barrett family has produced popes, which makes sense that they're going bat-shit crazy that a saint from the Joshua family is about to take their place. Suddenly, the coachman comes to inform Rely that they've run into a problem. A certain group of men are restricting access to the Duchy. Enraged, Rely howls at them for not recognizing the crest of the Joshua family. This evil group actually turned out to be demonic and evil, and their purpose is to eliminate the child of the saintess at all cost. Isaac certainly wasn't expecting his life to take yet another turn and questions what the FK is wrong with the new Demon King. The Demonkind forces warn them about their mighty king's orders to slay saints and saintesses on the spot. This confirms his suspicions that a new king has usurped the Skeleton King's previous orders, and that is why they are required to kill the saint at all cost. Not knowing that they're targeting their very own demon lord from the past. They're happy to spare their lives as long as they surrender the child. But to that, Rely thunderbolts one of them to ashes. Pissed that they could say such words against an exorcist of Joshua. Pointing his blade, Rely declares that the Joshua household will not rest until all evil beings are vanquished from this world. He and the rest of his group prepare their swords, ready to send the demons back to freaking hell. As for the Skeleton King, Rely is amused at the thought of him using his mere underlings to seize his body. The Demonkind monsters attempt to strike them down after being provoked. To guarantee the young master's safety, Isaac is escorted by one of the guards away from the battlefield. He's baffled to hear what happened just now. If he's the Skeleton King, then who's the new guy impersonating his identity? Isaac is placed in a bush and protected by a barrier. It's such a powerful barrier that high-ranking demons won't be able to penetrate. Isaac's glad that nothing can jeopardize his safety, but it also implies he's stuck on the inside for good. So he aims to correct that by activating his magic release. Bro meditates into the cosmos like some galactic, overpowered baby and calls forth the one who watches. This demonic spirit appears to greet its master, but Isaac quiets him down so he doesn't blow things up. The spirit is eager to serve his master after being called after a long time. This is actually supposed to be a detection spell, but it bears a conscience of its own. He was made for the purpose of detecting magic and painful analysis. The spirit congratulates the Skeleton King for successfully manipulating and taking control of the body of a child. He thinks Bro willingly chose to get stuck inside a baby's body because he's just that evil. The spirit is enraged that they trapped him in a powerful barrier and brought insult to his master. Isaac's done with his bannering and tells him to activate his detection magic at once. The demon spirit begins scouting within 100 meters, sensing a total of 88 enemy monsters. They're weak as shit compared to Isaac though, but he's worried that such a number is crazy for a battle like this. It's going to get difficult for him if the security for this territory becomes tightened, as it will pose trouble to Isaac's own forces in the future. That's why he wants to end this fight quickly before getting caught. So now, he's risking to activate every last bit of his mana for a single move. Interestingly, he learns that the enemy numbers are getting obliterated at an alarming rate. There are only 31 left, and then reduced to 13. Isaac wonders what's going on. In the battlefield, only 4 Demonkind soldiers remain while Rely is made alert of an incoming monster. The Demonkind soldiers are happy to have been joined by a powerful ally as they can now kill the saint. To everyone's surprise, Demonkind soldier, which leads to the destruction of all the Demonkind soldiers there. The Shadow Lich, the same demon who attacked Isaac before, has arrived. And this monster is as pissed as ever that the Demonkind bastards tried hurting his master. You see, from their previous encounter, the Shadow Lich already knows about Isaac's identity. That's exactly the troublesome part for our little murder machine. The Shadow Lich is adamant in protecting its master, insulted by the fact that his king was trapped inside the body of a child. Isaac managed to free him after all, so now he's suddenly loyal to the guy. The monster stares at Joshua's line of defenses. Even Rely is confused as to what's going on. The humans were thankfully unable to understand his language. Otherwise, Isaac would be getting slaughtered here. The Shadow Lich has figured out his identity, and while that is commendable, it has compelled the human forces to target the Shadow Lich. The baby cries out from the barrier, catching the attention of the knights. He promises to return to Isaac soon, And for the Shadow Lich, this dude is swooning in affection that his master recognized him. The Shadow Lich ignores all of them and targets Isaac. But Rylai and his men don't understand that the Shadow Lich means no harm to the child. He's just pissed that they sealed him in a tiny barrier. Meanwhile, Isaac instructs the demon to break the barrier, which it shatters with a smash, fulfilling the king's order. With the barrier penetrated, Rylai and his men are losing their shit. But Isaac is having the time of his life, reuniting with the Shadow Lich. Next, he actually double-crosses the Shadow Lich by sealing him inside the totem, much to his disappointment and confusion. Seeing this feat being performed by a damn child, Rylai is questioning what the hell just happened. They just witnessed the boy turning a high demon into a totem. Shortly after his accomplishment, the knights praise him in glory for having used a holy spell. In reality, the kid used mana to seal the Shadow Lich. But Rylai doesn't know that. He just thinks that a high-level holy spell was casted and yet no power leaked out. They think the young master acted out of urgency of the situation, believing that Isaac was the most threatening force to the Shadow Lich at the time. They sing praises of the young master's glory and his future as a saint. But Rylai is troubled in deep thought, not knowing why the demon-kin forces are targeting the child. At this rate, he knows that something is special about this boy, but it's the fact that Isaac is a child that bothers him. Rylai configures his thoughts and strengthens his resolve. The leader of the Blue Division wants to protect Isaac's future with his life. This is great news to Rylai, who realizes that he's been naive all along. He was afraid of the Skeleton King's curse, but this boy seems destined to raise the honor of the Joshua family name. He grabs the boy and promises to teach the kid lots of things to become an incredible holy knight. Isaac happily smiles, but on the inside, he's secretly plotting his objective to retrieve his original body. Rylai promises to protect him no matter how short his life is, spreading the boy's name across the continent. Isaac wants him to rewind to the part where he mentioned the shortness of his life. Anyway, let's skip ahead to Joshua Duchy, Isaac's safe haven, which is decorated with beauty all over the place. Isaac feeling betrayed that these guys are actually living the wealthiest damn life imaginable. When back at his place, the demon kin was starved for resources. He had to assume responsibility for them and keep them well fed. The detection spell even confirms that even a few of these sculptures are worth 10 Demon King castles. Rylai places the boy in his tiny casket. The Joshua residence is the hallmark place where demon-slaying warriors came to existence. He wants the boy to gaze outside at the knight's training, as he will one day become just like them. Meanwhile, these very knights are actually beating the shit out of the Demon King's mannequin. Bro is out here realizing that he's seriously fucked if they found out about his identity. Still, his main purpose remains the same. He's going to burn the Emperor alive and soon take over the Joshua Duchy. Even the detection spell thinks he's being petty for holding a grudge against kids. The spirit gets to work and interestingly locates a bunch of mana cores scattered all over the place. This is great news for Isaac. Rylai arrives at his place and commands his servants to prepare his room for Isaac as well. One of the butlers apologizes for mentioning new orders. Apparently, Rylai is to guide the young master to the annex. It turns out that the fifth young master displays a deep grudge against Isaac and has issued orders against him. Rylai is seriously annoyed that Isaac is supposed to be kept where a person met their own end. Their conflict just now makes Isaac happy to see that the Joshua family is in shambles on the inside. Rylai doesn't understand his brother's intentions. At first, Isaac strongly opposes the idea himself. But that's when his convenient detection spell reminds him that there are many mana cores resting in Annex as well. Rylai is firm in his decision and doesn't want to take the kid to that haunting place. The baby whines because Rylai wants to read him some holy scriptures as bedtime stories. Isaac is getting tortured in his own family. As Rylai is taking him away, the fifth young master shows up with an arrogant attitude, reminding his orders of sending the boy to the annex. This bitch faces Gaul Joshua, the fifth son of the family. Just one sight of this dude is enough for Isaac to conclude that he's your average delinquent. This guy doesn't even regard the boy as a person. He calls him a mere thing instead of recognizing him as the descendant of the family. Rylai strongly opposes Gaul, while Isaac is almost convinced that this new clown is also a part of a group that despises him for some reason. That's it for today's video. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos like this. Thanks for watching.